Hey, so how are you doing? It's Keith. What's up? It's been a while since I've blogged. I've been really busy with my yoga practice, which is something that I've been using to reinvent myself. The title of the video, I just turned 55, 5. What an amazing time. Interesting place to be where I'm at. Have a lot of gratitude for the things that have come up, for the changes, for things being easy, for things not being easy, for the challenges, all that kind of stuff. Right away, I got to address some comments, or just one that I just got recently that I deleted. Somebody said that I look like a crackhead. Obviously with the way I look. Yeah, I get that, because nobody's used to seeing somebody age this way, you know? Obviously from some person in their 20s or their 30s, and they think that they're going to hold on to their look. And there's just, I'm not saying I'm the only one that is aging very gracefully and has got all the things going for them. This is just the look too, by the way. There's so much stuff that I have going on with my goals and with my ability to reinvent myself that has so much more to do with way beyond my look. Oh boy, that's a problem in this world, isn't it? The superficial, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, because I dress young. I cut my hair looking in a young way. I have my obsessions with very early to the game with body piercing and tattoos and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I guess you could easily say if you think, if you're not really looking into the depth of me, yeah, I could get where somebody would come up with that, but I'm okay with that. I don't think I look young. I think I look ageless. I think I look very vital. I am very vital. So, not trying to go off on a rant there, but it's certainly not the first time that I've gotten that comment. And I actually look way better than I did like 10 years ago, which was me coming off of still having massive problems with having HIV, full-blown AIDS, all that stuff, which, in case you're wondering what's going on with that, like you can't test if somebody doesn't have HIV. There's a whole disconnect going on in the world of science and medicine on all levels and within HIV as well. So, yeah, I don't take medication, and I don't show a viral load. And of course, my blood still tests HIV positive because it's the whole kind of weird little conspiracy, the whole doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense because HIV positive means that you have the antibody. That in any other disease, that means that you've fought the disease off. So there's actually a movie that I'm in, which is about my case. Not just about my case. Truth Calkins is in it, and I'm in it. It's a very dark movie about sort of the history of HIV and the sort of weird medical stuff. And the movie ends on a very positive note, mostly with my story and Truth Calkins sort of wrapping it up. It's a really great movie. I was involved in it at the early stages. It's called Behind the Fear. It's available on Amazon for download. So, yeah, that kind of destroyed me. But it's, out of darkness cometh light, and I'm happy about how that came into my life and made me wake up and what have you. And so the things that I have to be grateful for is I still have the massive ability to reinvent myself and which I think is very unusual for somebody that's over 40. I even say late 30s. With the biggest significant thing happening is me just jumping into this massive yoga practice. Like I've always done yoga, but then last year I was doing a lot of manifestation, magic, a lot of the stuff. If you're a regular follower of me, you know that I do conscious creation, manifestation, magic with a K, directing where I want my life to go. And at the time of the great eclipse in August last summer, 2017, yeah, I manifested this person that got me involved in a yoga sangha, and now I do a full-blown practice, and I'm really connected into that. I'm a very active person. Well, I've always been a very active person. Boy, a lot of things have happened. It's like, I don't know, if my whole house remodeled. You know, I do a affirmation. There's 3 affirmations that I do every day. One of them is, I surrender my free will to the divine archangels, angels, and ascended masters of heaven to guide me in a direction that is the direction of my highest self, living to my ultimate potential every single day. So, boy, that's a whopper there. So if you do not want to have dark shit happen to you, that's going to make you wake up and go, whoa, because that's where you grow out of darkness. If everything's perfect all the time and you don't realize why you're here in this dimension, then that could get you into a lot of trouble. So, but I know what I'm getting myself into with my magic practice, with my manifestation practice. I do want to make some comments. I see people that are my age that maybe have less wrinkles than I do. I did some calculations. I've actually easily spent 700 times more time in the sun than most human beings. And probably for a lot of them, that could be up as high as 1,000 or 2,000 times. I grew up in Southern California, born in 1963, being outside all the time, surfing, skating, going to the beach, hanging out at the beach all the time. Pretty regular, shirt off. Me and my brother, when we first started working for my dad, when we were teenagers, we pretty much had our shirts off with no hat, no protection. You know, the entire summer. We never had shirts. You know, we'd arrive at work with our shirts off. We never put them on. Slept, you know. And then I continued in that business, which I didn't intend to do, exposed to sun all the time. I'm going to I actually did a playlist. I don't know if any of you are actually curious about what I did, but for whatever, just to like bring some more backstory to me, because I am going to start making more claims about my glorious aging going on. But you can see what I did. I was in the grading business, the large-scale grading business, which a lot of people don't fully understand. But if you go to a place like South Orange County or up towards Magic Mountain, or just pretty much anything in Southern California, other than, well, pretty much anywhere, a lot of like kind of hardcore development. Like the grading industry that I did exists pretty much nowhere else in the world. Like it does in Southern California. And that's what I did. That was my family's business. That's what my father did. And that's what my father's father did. So I simply fell into that business because I was an artist and and more specifically a musician, and I just needed to make money. And I realized, wow, I'm actually really good at this. My creativity works in it. I get to dress how I want. I get to look how I want. I pretty much mastered the business very quickly. And at age 24, I was running work, which is not to do a bragging thing, but this is a Keyth 55. Yeah. At 24, I was running work, or a foreman or a superintendent, which is something that most people in that business don't really achieve until they're 44. Mind you, I was the boss's son, so I did have a leg up with getting that happen, but it wasn't nepotism. I did wind up continuing on by the time last 5 years of my work before I retired early. I was the best production foreman in the operating engineers, that's a union, in Southern California. There wasn't anybody that could touch me. And the only thing that held me back from that was my lack of being a materialistic, capitalistic, greedy person, and my look as well, of course. Back in those days, I had several facial piercings. That is now 12 years on, since the playlist is actually called something like my life in another dimension, and you can see all the big Caterpillar equipment I worked around. There's actually one of the videos is actually a job that I was a production foreman on. Anyways, so the things I'm excited about is, learning what real healing is, you know, emotional, spiritual, mental. I guess the biggest things in my life right now are like, I did actually wind up going back to Vipassana and completing that in February, and I'm going back to Vipassana, and there will be a video coming up. I didn't really want to do a video on Vipassana straight out the door of coming back, just because I wanted to see how to integrate it into my life. I'm at a loss for words. I've been a raw vegan most of my life, all my adult life. 33 years and 4 months. Been pretty much 100% raw about 90% of that time, probably 93% of that time. Not a big deal, honestly. I never claim it as a big deal. It's just it's what it seems natural to me. Not in any thinking kind of way, because I actually don't really believe that human beings come from evolution. I think that we are created. There's too many missing links. There's too much critical thinking involved with the fact that we don't have, I just thought, like, for example, the fact that we don't have pads on the bottom of our feet like dogs do. We've pretty much created dogs from wolves. I think that probably goes way back. Shoes aren't that old. I'm not saying that we were created in the sense of like the creation story, but I would say, and that's a big thing with spirituality. Spirituality is a big upfront thing with me. I'm very much a new ager. So we were created by aliens, some other races, some other, like, there's a lot going on, and I don't really so much involve myself in a lot of that stuff, a lot of alien stuff, I'm all over the place with that stuff. I don't really get obsessed with conspiracy theory. Don't give a fuck if the world's flat or if it's round. I still walk on the same ground I walked on when I was born. A lot of people get caught up in a lot of that stuff. But the diet thing, I wind up manifesting everything that I want. The biggest thing I think is always thinking positive. Going through what you need to go through. Wind up, I have always felt like a wizard in a world full of muggles. I mean, I'm still very positive and stuff, but the people that I'm around now in my yoga sangha, amazing people. I'm actually glad I went through what I went through of just being around, in my business, a lot of rednecks. I stuck out like a sore thumb all the time. Helped me get a lot of work. I was well known just simply by my look, in this world of cowboy dudes running tractors, damn it. Yeah, so I'm at a loss for words right now. Don't know why. But I just wanted to say I'm like excited about stuff I'm doing. My creativity is on a high level. My discipline, my ability, like my discipline was already way higher than most people's. But now it's really at a level of perfection, and that's really come through Vipassana, and it's been the people that I met at my yoga sangha in October that have helped me with that. I'm around beautiful people now all the time. And I'm not trying to diss. I know there's a lot of older people that follow me on YouTube, but in real time, honestly, my relationship with older people, anybody pretty much over 40 is pretty much bittersweet. I've always preferred to hang out with younger people. I think my childlikeness is one of my best features. I see a lot of people. I've been through 4 serious relationships. And I think people's connection with other people through relationships and desire and stuff, it winds up turning a lot of people bitter. Boy, you just got to constantly reinvent yourself. And so today, as a matter of fact, I'm going to hang out with probably 4 of my best friends, all for the most part generally about 30 years younger than me. I'm honored to get to hang out with them, all from my yoga sangha, and 2 of them, John and Dan, they're twins. They're Vipassana junkies. They just turned 26 and they're going to hit their 5th Vipassana. Vipassana is amazing, and it took me a while to see the truth of it. Buddhism, had a little bit of an attitude about it, as you know if you follow me, but like, I don't really see it as a religion, I don't think. I see it as a basic, like, human need to just, like, not let your mind run you. So, yeah, I completed Vipassana. I was there, I went in February 14th, got out on February 25th. Kind of knocked me back. Probably got to talk about a lot of the mystical stuff that's happened to me. I was incredibly clairvoyant when I was a young kid, and I was adopted into a family of my folks. Pretty straightforward working class people, and they didn't know what was going on with me, and then it was pretty much chased out of me. And so later on, by say like 2015, things were starting to change, and I starting to have visions again and stuff like that. But so I'm reconnecting with that. I've always had really good intuition. Just for example, when I used to work as being a boss, I would know right away if somebody was going to help or if I was going to need to fire them. And eventually I started trusting that intuition. But I really didn't start putting my finger to it till 2015 when a lot more mystical stuff happened. And then when I got out of Vipassana, in Vipassana I had a lot of mystical stuff happen. Then when I got out, I was getting back into that whole state of being. And yeah, John and Dan came to my house, and they had not been to my house. And again, these are friends that I met at the Sangha who are between me and them were probably the most steady practitioners. And they're, like I said, they're 30 years younger than me. Great friendship, super old souls. I have so much like positivity about like younger people. I think I run into like a lot of people that are my age or whatever. They're like, goddamn millennials, and we have so much to learn. I mean, if you want to move forward in this world, I think you got to pay attention to the young people that the universe has delivered. Yeah. I have a lot of positive thinking about what's going on, and that's a really big feature with me, is all my positive thinking. So I wanted to walk around more, but for some reason I'm having a hard time focusing. Starting to just clean up a lot of stuff about my life. Like I said, my creativity is a super high level. That's what's important to me, and the ability to change, and the ability to connect with awesome people. And I think that's probably long enough. Just wanted to say, hey, I'm 55, turned 55 2 weeks ago, and there's my kitchen. That's the remodeled kitchen that happened right before I went into Thailand. I'm still a little messy, getting it. Gonna do a few recipes coming up. I'll be more frequent. This whole transformation that I went through with yoga, I kicked my butt for a while. I was eating, like, I'm kind of an intermittent faster, but as I was going through that, my body was rebuilding new muscle, new tissue, working with the Chinese tonic herbs, eating a lot of food. Now I'm kind of back to that. I'm getting ready to do a blended fast on this next new moon coming, which I think is June 13th. Yeah. Wonder if I left anything incomplete. But, yeah, really excited about my life. Oh, and the change. We'll talk about that more. Boy, the change. I'm excited that I was 55, like, 3 days before I turned 55 was when Uranus moved into Taurus, and you'd have to be dumb. You'd have to be unaware. You'd have to be on drugs. You'd have to be like some kind of dark, unplugged in atheist person to not realize that we're on the verge of massive change. All right, this could turn into a rambling video if I go on any longer. I just wanted to say, hey, I wanted to say I'm in the best of shape. I'm really happy with my life. My music is going so great. It's like even in the massive physical demands. And by the way, I'm doing Series 2 Ashtanga Yoga in less than a year. Pretty impressive. So I could talk a lot more about that. This is just a rambling video. Gonna have some video coming up with some recipes about working with some wild edibles that I have. What my diet currently is. It's still raw vegan. With the idea of like when I feel like I'm depleted of getting some cooked food in for the calories. Had a lot of that, a lot of days. A lot of taking naps in the middle of the day because it's just so crazy. Doing 3 to 4 hours of yoga a day, and then, well, skipping Saturday generally, just for one rest day. So it's Keith, Live Rockstar. Support me by supporting my music, links in the drop down. There's also a playlist that I'm going to link down there that's just in case you're curious. It's just like all those wrinkles I got there. Yeah. That's all for me being in the sun 700 times to 1,000 to 1,500 times more. Minimally 700 times more than the average person in the sun. Not like Truth Calkins in that department. I like being outside. I like being in nature. It's a major fixture of me. Is that it? That's it.